Hello everyone, welcome to day 6 of your science challenge. Today's quite a long one, and so you might want to skip forward and miss out a few bits here and there, but that's up to you. Just before we start today though, just want to say over the next week or so we're going to be doing a few experiments that require a couple of things. So you might just want to add these to a shopping list for an adult in your house next time they go out if possible. Okay, so some of those things which you might be needing is an egg at some point. You're going to be needing an egg, some jelly sweets, so something like gummy bears, something like that. Okay, we'll only need a few out of that bag, so you never know what might happen to the rest of the bag. We'll see. And some Alka-Seltzer. Okay, so that's some tablets which dissolve in water. They're a bit fizzy, and yeah, you're an adult at home will know what those are. And maybe at some point some Diet Coke, a bottle of Diet Coke and some Mentos. You might have seen that experiment before, but we're going to give that a go at some point. Okay, so today we're going to be doing something called making something called a bee hotel. Okay, so you might have seen these before. It's spring. It's a lovely day at the moment, the weather's great. You might have noticed a few bumblebees around. So we're going to be making something, making a place for bumblebees and other solitary bees to live and to shelter. Okay, so this isn't like a beehive, so we're not talking about bees that live in colonies here and that make honey. We're not going to be building a beehive, we're going to be making something for a solitary bee, so something like a bumblebee. Okay, so you might have seen these before. This is the bought one. So what they consist of are an outer part, so something around the outside, and then inside is lots of little hollow sticks. Okay, so what the bumblebees will do is they'll bury into these and they will live in these, in this case, bamboo canes. Okay, so we're going to make these. Now, hopefully, I've got enough alternatives that you should be able to make one no matter what you've got in the house. I'm hoping. But what we need, first of all, is something to go around the outside. So you could make a frame out of wood. You definitely need an adult to help you with that. Or I've got a few different alternatives here. I've got here a ceramic plant pot. Okay, that's a good alternative. Here I've got a plastic bottle that I cut on the first take. This is the second take. So I cut that and we're going to use the bottom part. Okay, so this bit. Just be careful, get an adult to help you with that because this bit can be sharp and you also have to puncture it with some scissors, so that can be a little bit tough. Third option, maybe a tin. This is currently full, so use the contents first. But if you've got an empty tin in the recycling, give it a wash, give it a dry, and you could use an empty tin. Okay, we also then need some middle bits. Now, if you've got a garden and a shed, you might have some bamboo canes, okay? Something that looks a bit like this. So we can use the bamboo canes by cutting them into short lengths, which are going to be the right length for our outer part. So as you can see, my bamboo canes are the right length. Now, a couple of ways to cut them. You could either use these things called secateurs. Again, you're definitely going to need an adult to help you with these bits. So you could just cut your bamboo. Sometimes they're a little bit tough. Sometimes you might need to use a saw. So again, getting an adult to help and just sawing off the right lengths. Okay, so you're going to need some lengths of bamboo, and then what you're going to do is you're going to pop them into your container. Okay, another option, if you do not have any bamboo, you can actually make your own hollow tubes using what I've used actually is a paper bag. So one of the paper bags that you get from the supermarket when you collect your vegetables. So hopefully you've got a brown paper bag. If you haven't, I'm sure just regular A4 paper would be okay. So you could just use scrap paper for this. And what I did, so I've got several here already made. These are ones I made earlier, as they say on Blue Peter. Always wanted to say that. I've got some squares of brown paper. So I've cut up the bag into squares of paper. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take something, I'm going to take my piece of bamboo, but you could take a pen or a pencil. I'm going to roll that up, pop a little bit of tape on it. Okay, just give it a squeeze to help it stay in position and take the bamboo out, and I've got one of those. Okay, it's quite a long process doing that. You're not necessarily going to get this done in one day, okay? No rush, just do it over the next few days, but you're going to need to make quite a few of these tubes. If there's more than one of you, why not get one person to be doing the sellotape, one person to be doing the rolling, do it as a bit of a team effort, okay? If you're on your own, Don't rush, just get through them, do as many as you're going to need. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to stuff our bamboo into our container, or our hollow tubes into our container. It's quite good if they've got different diameters, because then different species of insects and different species of bee will live in those. Okay, so I'm just going to pop those in here. Okay, so I've got all of my tubes in there. Basically what you want is them to not fall out when you turn them upside down. Okay, now my plant pot was a little bit more tricky because it's a bit of an unusual shape. Okay, so what I've done is I've cut some bamboo pieces to shorter length to kind of stuff them in the ends. I've also gone round the garden and collected a few bits and bobs like leaves and sticks and things like that, so I can shove those in some of the gaps to make sure that my bamboo isn't going to fall out. I think this probably isn't quite finished, but it's not far off. Okay, all right, so once you've made your bee hotel, what are we going to do with it? Okay, so one option is to hang it somewhere. Okay, so this is quite nice because it's got grooves already, so I'm just going to thread some string through here and then tie it, and then I can hang it off something in my garden. Okay, so I'll probably put 2 of those on. Okay, 2 pieces of string to hang it from somewhere in my garden. A couple of things about where we're going to put them. Okay, they need to be, if you've done paper, I suggest not putting them on the floor, but maybe just hanging them just a little bit, maybe up to half a metre off the floor. Okay, not much more than that. When you hang them, you need to hang it so it's slightly facing down, so that the water, when it rains, because we live in England, it will rain, when it runs down, it runs off. Okay, if you tilt it like that, then when it rains, it'll go into the tubes. The bees won't want to live in there. Okay, they'll get all soggy and messy. So make sure that somehow you just tilt it down slightly. Okay, this one might be a suitable one to put on the floor, so I might just put that on the floor somewhere. We do need it to be somewhere where it's going to get the morning sun, because bumblebees like to be warmed up in the morning. Okay, so somewhere where the sun will hit in the morning. Okay, so try and find a place in the garden where you're going to get morning sun. Okay, all right, I think that's everything. So I hope it goes well. Let me know how you get on. Like I say, it might take you more than one day to do this one, but that's okay. Don't rush it, enjoy it, take your time, and then hopefully we'll see lots of bees in our garden. Thank you, have a good time.